Hi, everybody. I hope you're joining me today for my first show of 2025, the first Political Talk with Charlotte show. I hope you're joining me and we're going to have a good time. I'm going to bring up some information that may not be discussed in depth on the mainstream media. Now, what I want to share with you is we're going to only discuss two major topics today. One topic is going to be my exposing some details and correlations between the terrorists who have, or the people who have allegedly started terrorist attacks on American soil. And the other is going to be about the bird brain flu. Yes, are you ready for this? Are you ready for the WHO and people who are wanting to put you back in mask? Are you ready to be obedient? Let's talk about that and other subjects when we get back. First, we want to go ahead and get our show started. I'll be right back. And I'm back. I'm back and I'm ready to. Actually, I'm glad that we've got some people joining me today. And if you can't catch the show during the live portion, just go ahead and catch it on the replay because you don't want to miss my discussing these topics. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year 2025. We've waited a long time for you to get here. And I just want to say to all of those people who made 2025 a potentially great year, thank you for exercising your right on November the 5th. I'll tell you what, we only have 18 more days of this disastrous regime. Yes. Joe Biden, we want to say bye, bye, bye. Thanks for joining Political Talk with Charlotte this week. I appreciate each of you. We air our show every Thursday at noon Central Standard Time. Ways you can get in contact with me, you can send me an email at charlotte@charlottebergman, that's with 2 N's.com. Catch me on my first Facebook page, which is my fan page at Elect Bergman, or my other Facebook page at charlotte.bergman.9. Then after the show is over, we're going to upload this video to Bitchute. So you can catch me there at Political Talk with Charlotte. On Twitter, we will upload it there, and it's at Elect Bergman. Now, on YouTube, you can find it at Bergman for Congress. And on Twitter, you can find it at Charlotte Bergman. And guess what, guys? After several months, after Facebook kicked me off of Facebook back, I think it was in June, I'm finally back on Rumble. Yes, the application that I'm using to present to you this show has finally found a way to get me back on Rumble. So if any of you want to check to see if we're live, I would appreciate it. I see we've got some comments from some of my friends. Look at here. This is one of my really faithful friends. Facebook is not notifying me of your live. I'll try to remember to notify you of your live. I'm sorry about that. They don't want this information to get out. So what can I say? We're not going to be stopped, guys. We're definitely not going to be stopped. Also, if you're new to this channel, please leave a comment or subscribe to my channel on Rumble or YouTube or Twitch. I am so glad I got some water before the show started because my throat is now beginning to tickle. I'm asking you to subscribe or to to make a comment, because what that does, it overrides the algorithm that Facebook, that YouTube, that Rumble has implemented to keep our show from being spread across the community. Any help you can give me, I would appreciate it. I can't tell you how much I love you, how much I appreciate you joining me on a weekly basis. And yes, it has been about 2 weeks since we've um, produced a show, but I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas holiday and the new year. Please comment and share my videos as much as you possibly can. The Last Trumpet in the Battle for America is my book, and I hope if you hadn't read it, you get a chance to read it. It is about a little bit about my history, why I have been on this journey to become a Republican, and also to encourage you to don't be afraid to follow your belief. Guys, we've totally been infiltrated. We have Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and his administration for that. We've totally been infiltrated. You don't let those hundreds and thousands of undocumented aliens to cross over our border and not expect the terrorists to infiltrate them. We knew January 2025 would start out with a bang, and it did yesterday. I expected it. I don't know if you expected it, but I expected it, and they didn't fail. Bottom line is they are preparing themselves for losing control. And this infiltration, this ruckus, this chaos that they're going to try to start in the United States, it's going to intensify. And it's going to get worse and worse as we get closer and closer to the inauguration, because you guys decided to send them a message and to resort to our Constitution to take your country back by getting off the couch and going and voting the one guy that they felt very confident would not take over again, because they figured they had put enough mind bombs or what have you. They had put in enough obstructions to keep him from being president. And what did y'all do? Y'all took your country back. So as the intensification of these attempts to stop the inauguration, to stop President Trump from being sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, don't fear, don't be afraid. But you and I, who are Christians, I want to warn you, keep your head on a swivel. Don't go into places where there are huge crowds right now. Stay prayed up. Listen to God. If God tells you not to go someplace, don't do it. I don't care if you've spent hundreds of dollars on airline tickets, on gas. Prepare to go to places where there is a crowd. If God says don't do it, don't do it. He's going to protect you. He's going to be there with you. But I say stay prayed up. Get your popcorn, sit back and watch how the riffraff is going to try to come out to take our country back. And guess what? They're going to expose themselves. They're going to expose themselves. And unlike in 2020, what's going to happen is they're going to be cleaned up out of our nation, because as soon as President Trump's cabinet is in place, and the full cabinet doesn't have to be put in place. We just need Kash Patel. We need Pam Bundy. We need those people who are going to work in security to do their jobs. We need our Congress in place. Remember when the 2020 bombing occurred, when the riffraff came out in 2020, what did we have? We had we had a United States House of Representatives that was led by the Democrats, that was led by Nancy Pelosi. And at one point, back in 2023, 24, she admitted it was her fault that it happened, that J6 happened. She admitted that she did not comply with President Trump's request to bring in additional security and National Guard. So she admitted it. We're going to hold her to it. And all of those people who have been suffering in jail, war criminals, they are going to be justified, and there are going to be consequences to the actions that occur since Joe Biden has been president. Watch me, watch my smoke. There are going to be consequences. And I tell you what, guys, 2025 is the year of consequences. Joe Biden is not going to be able to pardon everybody. And those that he doesn't pardon, going to point the finger at him. So let's get started in the show. I'm sorry to get distracted and talk about other things. Now, we all woke up on January 1, and what did we hear? Turned on the television, and there were reports that there was a bombing in New Orleans, and later there was a bombing in front of Trump Tower. We got to be in the right place at the right time, so don't let your guard down. I'm going to say to you, like I said back in 2020, hold the line, guys. The enemy has been waiting for their green light to get started. Now, I really believe they received that green light on December 31st, 2024. But the results will not be like 2020 when Democrats were in control of the House. We're dealing with radicalized terrorists. Guess what, guys? They're not going to succeed. They're not going to be successful. You just sit back and you watch what's going to happen to them. Now, I expected that when I started doing my research this morning, there were not a number of mainstream media hosts that were reporting the details. But were you aware there is a thread that runs through at least three of the people who have been incentivized to cause destruction? Remember back when Ryan Roth, the guy who had his weaponry ready to shoot President Trump when he was playing golf, Jabbar, who actually ran over people in New Orleans yesterday using a vehicle that did not make sound, an electric vehicle. Matthew Liebesberger, he was only 37 years old, the one that got blown up in the vehicle in front of Trump Tower. But guys, what do these guys have in common? They visited the same military base, Fort Bragg. Where is Fort Bragg located? In Mendocino County, California. They're in California. And yesterday, with all of the activity that was going on, the bombing in New Orleans, the explosion in front of the Trump Tower, there were also 10 people that were injured in a drive-by shooting in a nightclub in Queens, New York. Oh, yesterday, there was a green light that was communicated to the sleeping cells, and they were active. And guess what, guys? They're just beginning. They are just beginning. I want you guys to know. Noni says, thank you for having your alarm set for every Thursday. I do appreciate it. But let's go over these stories, and let's go over them very quickly. because I want to also get to the bird flu. You guys would love me what I have to say about the bird flu. Okay, what's happening here in New Orleans? It just shows you a picture of what you've already seen about about what happened yesterday. But here's the weird thing. I was listening to a report from the FBI and from the mayor of New Orleans and people of that nature, and they said there was no accompaniment. There was nobody else that was helping the guy um, run over the poor people in New Orleans. And I want you to pray for their families too. Please pray for their families. There was nobody accompanying him. Their cameras showed that there were three people that were, I think it was three people who actually planted bombs, and one of those people were a female. But yet, the press conference that was held today said the only person that was involved was the person that was shot, that drove the vehicle. That's a lie, guys, and it's going to come out. But you're not supposed to know right now. Now you and I don't trust the FBI or the CIA right now, so I'm waiting for the new administration to take over. Now, this Livensberger, who was a 37-year-old, was involved in the Telsa Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas, while Jabbar was implicated in the New Orleans attack. The connection between Livensberger and Jabbar is their common denominator is Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg, as I said, is in California. Fort Bragg is a place where people are being trained by the CIA. Those two American veterans, Lemonsberger and Jabbar, were radicalized to commit acts of terror on the very same day. They got the vehicles from the same company, and I looked up the name of the company. It is an app that they use. It's called Turo. The vehicles were rented from there, and this company is not, it really is cyber. It doesn't have a distinct location. They download this app, they reserve their vehicle, and then they have to go to a place to rent them. And they probably pay for it ahead of time so they can just pick up the vehicle. But here's the thing. The one that we have in Tennessee, people around the Nashville, the various places, Brentwood, and various places like that, Murfreesboro, people that can pick vehicles up from there are using this Turo, but not in Memphis. Now, the vehicle that was picked up, whereby it was used to run over the people in New Orleans, as they say, it was brought into Texas from Mexico. At the Queens nightclub shooting, there were 3 to 4 gunmen, and they're going to have to track them down. There were some comments about Fort Bragg. It says Fort Bragg is the home of the Army's Psychological Operations Unit, PSYOP. 3 different men all came out radicalized. Is it the Army? Or is it the agency finding the right soldiers that are susceptible to influence? Is it the Army doing it, or are all those people susceptible to influence? The CIA works in conjunction with and recruits from there. They recruit from Fort Bragg. I don't know. There is a special operations and the Kennedy School of Special Warfare is located there, and that's where people are trained. Let's see if I have any more. I think that's primary. I think that's primarily what I wanted to discuss pertaining to Fort Bragg and what's going on there. I want to show you something about Fort Bragg, though, before I get away from it. People are wondering what's happening with Fort Bragg. Why are people radicalized in Fort Bragg? Why? Why? Well, I want to show you guys this picture, and maybe you can answer the question yourself. Who do you see here? Would that be Millie? What is it about Millie? Millie introduced the radical lifestyle, the transgender, Black Lives Matter. Millie did that. Millie, with his open-mindedness, his kicking people out of the military because they chose not to get the jab. That's Millie, and I just hope. I really believe that he is a traitor. That's my opinion. I believe he is a traitor, and I believe there are going to be consequences. So he needs to lawyer up. What is this somebody is saying? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Mike, thank you. So Fort Bragg is in North Carolina. It is now named Camp Liberty. There is a town in California named Fort Bragg, but it's not the one in the news. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. And I hope you are getting better. I hope you're feeling better. I appreciate you providing me with that research. I kind of wondered about that, but hey, that's why I do this show. I've got people that are really smart that helps me out and bring information to the forefront, information that I need. So anyway, I just wanted to come before you guys today to talk about the brain. The brain is one of the most everybody everybody has a brain, right? The problem is everybody using their brain? Are we using our brains like we're supposed to? I wanted to share this video with you guys. It's about a brain. So give me a minute and let me pull it up. I thought this was so awesome. Let me set it up for you. Okay. Tell me if you can relate to this.
I used to believe everything I'd see on the news, but that's before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey. A brain may also lower your desire to take life-altering advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. But thanks to a brain, now I can think for myself every day. When my disregard for 3rd grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
For tethering yourself to reality, the only no-brainer is choosing a brain. Ask your doctor if a brain is right for you.
For more information, visit tryabrain.
All right, you guys, I thought that was so funny, especially now that they're trying to push the bird flu back on us. You know, you see all of these people driving around in their vehicles all by themselves with a mask on. Well, this is about to intensify. And why? Because we've got people who are running scared, who are going to do every single thing they can to make sure that you're doing stupid stuff, that you're not using your brains. So, what are they trying to do? They're trying to present to you another pandemic. Oh, my bad. Pandemic. They want you to fall victim to another pandemic. And I want to share with you guys what Robert W. Malone, who is an MD, has said. He says, I'm an expert in influenza. And before I get started discussing this, I am not going to say that people have not gotten sick this year. We've gotten sick. During the holidays, with eating sweets, with eating lots of food, being around people, cooking, eating other people's cooking, your body resistance gets low and you do tend to fall victim to maybe flu. Okay. So Dr. Malone says, I'm an expert in influenza and have consulted with the WHO over the past 2 decades on the topic of flu vaccines. This is one subject matter I'm extremely knowledgeable about. What is happening now with the quote unquote bird flu? That's just another psyop. It's another psyop campaign being conducted by the administrative deep state against the American people again. They know, and we know, that the vaccines being produced will be ineffective, as all flu vaccines are. The government is chasing a rapidly evolving RNA virus with a syringe, just like they did with HIV and with COVID-19. All the while, they're getting prepared to roll out masks again, 6 feet apart again, lockdowns, quarantines, and all of this stuff, because they're running scared. Because you all exercised your rights on November the 5th, and you guys voted in a new administration. But they think, they're hoping that there are still enough people out there that are going to believe what they're saying. And they're going to start back to wearing their masks. They're going to accept, okay, the lockdowns. They're going to accept the closing of businesses. They're going to accept quarantines and etc. As Dr. Malone said, all the while getting ready to roll out the mRNA vaccines for poultry and livestock, as well as for all of us. That's what Bill Gates and the WHO and their cronies are trying to do. The more they test, here's the key. The more they test, the more bird flu they're going to find. This pandemic is nothing more than an artifact of their newly developed protocols to test cattle, poultry, pets, people, and wildlife on a massive scale for the flu. In years past, this was not even considered. You had the flu? Okay, do something about it. Of course, these facilities producing the test have been repurposed from the COVID-19 testing facility. They're going to reuse the same old facility. They're going to be more regulatory capture. The questions are, and the question I have for you, are you going to comply? Are you going to comply? And the other question, and I asked this question, and hopefully it is not something I have to contend with now with this new administration. Are they going to be able to force you to comply? I'll tell you what, if Kamala Harris had been voted in as president, they would have forced you to comply, or they would have put you in some type of camp if you didn't comply. I went through the COVID-19 quarantine. I had family members who were afraid to be around me because I didn't wear a mask. I have a sister who is a nurse who put gloves on her door. So the same people that touch the glove to get in over and over again is supposed to have a different effect on them because it's a plastic glove. Will President Trump go along with the psyop campaign again? Will he? We'll soon know We will soon know. And I want to show you, I want to show you this statement. So give me a chance to bring this up because, guys, I think you can relate to it. And I want you to see this statement all by itself without any distractions, because this is what they have been doing to us all along. This is Dr. Robert Malone, and he said, and this is what I couldn't believe that was going on from 2020 until they stopped this stupidity. I think in Memphis, in Tennessee, we finally were able to convince the Governor Bill Lee, to end the mask mandate. This is what's so killing. The government was mandating us. Are you going to go along with it again? Here's the crazy thing. You weren't sick. Okay, you weren't sick. But what was happening is, in the first time in history, that the ineffectiveness of a medicine is being blamed on those who haven't taken it. They are saying because people haven't taken it, that impacts the medicine. That is so crazy. And the other thing that's crazy is this. The other thing that's crazy, you weren't feeling any symptoms. And they were telling you, just because you don't feel any symptoms don't mean that you may not be a carrier. So you need to get in line with everybody else. Put on a mask. Stand 6 feet apart. Tell you what, guys, if you're not careful, that's going to happen again. They're going to force you to comply. So I ask you, please, from the bottom of my heart, I ask you, please do not comply. Is that a threat? I don't think he's dumb enough to go along with that. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are remedies. There are remedies. I have not been sick this year or last year or year before or the year before or the year before that. There are 2 major things that are on the market, and I suggest people go ahead and take advantage of them. There's ivermectin and there's hydroxychloroquine. And I went and got my ingredients for hydroxychloroquine yesterday. I will be making hydroxychloroquine. I will be making hydroxychloroquine today. That's the only thing that's kept me from getting sick. You're on the road today. You're on the road today, Noni. You take ivermectin, you take hydroxychloroquine, and if I'm not taking my hydroxychloroquine, I do not hesitate to make sure I'm taking my C3, my vitamin C's, my various supplements to make sure that my body is healthy. And when my body is healthy and some virus come up to me to try to invade my body's go, get out of here, get out of here. And it works. It works. I have been healthy. I have been healthy. And if I can be healthy, I think many of you can too, because there are remedies in the market now. But rest assured, if Kamala Harris had become president, because I heard that they are taking some type of ingredients out of some of the off-the-shelf medication for colds and flu. I don't know what that ingredients is. I don't know if the ingredients was meant to make you weaker and weaker and you'd end up having to go to the doctor. Zinc, melatonin, vitamin C. Zinc was what I couldn't remember. And vitamin K, you go there, girl. Tell you what, God has made this body to be protective of itself and to provide remedies that are not produced by big pharma. Don't fall victim to big pharma, because big pharma is behind all of this. So anyway, I'm getting myself in trouble, but I don't care. I want my friends healthy because I need to see you and hug you and to let you know how much I appreciate you. If you are not taking any of those supplements, get ready to spend time in bed and eventually having to go to a doctor who will eventually inject you with the jab. Okay. Okay. I think I've covered enough for today. I think you guys are prepared to protect yourself. I think you guys are prepared to make sure that you and your family are healthy. And I think you guys are smart enough not to fall victim to what Big Pharma is trying to push, because you have a brain. So thank you for joining my show today. I look forward to seeing many of you in the new year in 2025. And I look forward to the great things that God is going to do in this country. And I have no doubt that President Trump is not going to put on stupid, and he is not going to fall victim to the same old things that took us down before. I think he learned his lesson, and I think many of us learned our lessons. And I think we're going for the big H, the healthy, the healthy, and we are going to do good. And this country is going to be great again. So God bless you all. Thank you for spending your day with me. Happy New Year. 2025 is the year of being great, and it's the year of accountability. Sit back and watch your enemy get what they deserve.